let me-
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, one more minute because I have some slide prepared
Mm-hmm.
to share.
Okay, very good.
Okay, I cannot share my screen. The host has
Oh,
to.
hold on. Okay, it's fixed now. Go ahead.
Let me find. Okay, first page is this one. So first topic is, La Colina fire, or more precisely, it is, let me zoom in here, of course, it's not.
Yes, please. Much better.
Yes, much better. Huh? Sorry for that. Okay, so first topic for today is La Colina fire slash Los Arboles fire.
Do you want to get rid of that strip on the right, that column, and just make your slides larger?
Let's
If it
see.
doesn't work, don't worry about it. It's visible. Go ahead.
I mean, I can also. There you go. Okay. So La Colina fire, I think that happened on October 1st, the 4th. So a couple of whatever months ago already. Quick intro, what fire I'm talking about. This is like the San Pablo Dam Road. Okay. We have the Canyon Community School. This is Wildcat Canyon Regional Park and the library and Appian Way here. And this is where I live, La Colina neighborhood. And you see the fire happened right in this area, which is this road is called Los Arboles.
Mm.
And one of the problems we have here is that we are El Sobrante, unincorporated in our neighborhood. Okay. Then, of course, we have the park, like big park property. We have the Whitehead Canyon Community School property, which extends all the way in this area. And this kind of private area here on Los Arboles. And this is all Richmond. So it's different restrictions like in our neighborhood. Okay, so that was a general location, and now here's my slides. I need my navigator. Okay. Again, that's just the same area, and kind of the zoom in. We saw this. See this kind of rectangular area, which is the again this property. And the fire happened kind of in the center of the property. There's like a big house and a couple of more smaller structures. And one of the, I think it was a barn which caught fire. It was called a vegetation fire, but essentially it was like a building catching fire and setting everything else on fire in this neighborhood. And then the main problem was, I mean, we have like a timeline here, which my neighbors kind of prepared, which is really awesome. I mean, they kind of the initial kind of report of the fire was like at 5:56, so 4 minutes before 6. Somebody reported these fires. Couple more people called in the cameras in Wildcat community, kind of catch the fire. Different neighbors called in. Even one of our neighbors kind of drove to the fire station to inform the fire department because what happened, the location was not this one of Los Arboles, but was somewhere here on Clark Road or like on Belgium train. It kind of moved around during the entire process. And really the big problem was that it took like entire 27 minutes before the fire department first vehicle arrived kind of here on Los Arboles. So 27 minutes before since the first report here and the first kind of vehicles arrived. And then it took, I mean, it was like a massive outreach. So we had, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 fire trucks. We had like bulldozers, we had airplanes, helicopters. That was awesome. But really the problem was, why did it take like 27 minutes? And then, I mean, the main problem was they didn't really know what a fire was. So they're kind of circling around here. And then ultimately they came back, I mean, came to our neighborhood. And
I'm sorry, Volker. Could you clarify they didn't know where the fire was or they had difficulty finding the address?
I think it was not reported correctly.
Okay.
I just knew a fire was in this area, but again, I think I have some snapshot here from watch duty. So you see, and I don't know which app this is. My neighbor shared. You see it was located somewhere here on Jana Vista Road and Clark Road for some reason. And then I think on watch duty, where there was another one, it put it like, and I'll go back to my slide for that one. It put it up here on Belgium Road. So it's more like, yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's somewhere here or somewhere here, but nobody really, they couldn't locate the fire. I mean, they had like wrong information. That was the big problem here. So that's why it took some 27 minutes, and it was only sheer luck that we didn't have there was no wind on this day. Otherwise, I mean, like it was a red flag day. I mean, that entire neighborhood, it's hugely overgrown, a lot of large eucalyptus trees. Like, I mean, the houses are kind of here. I mean, yeah, that would be a total disaster if there would be like wind on this day.
Oh,
The thing is, it already happened like the second time. I think last year there was a fire in our neighborhood. It was more like a little bit closer to San Pablo Dam Road. And the fire department stopped in front of my house for some reason. And I had to send them over to the fire location. So now the question really becomes, I mean, is maybe we can improve how they kind of locate the fire. Because, I mean, I think a lot of people call in 911. There's like this cameras and whatever, but it's really not sending them to the right address.
okay, Michelle has a question, but before I have a burning question. That is, you think the neighbors gave wrong information to the fire department, or the fire department doesn't have the right map? What needs to be fixed?
I guess. So first thing, I think when our neighbors, you see like multiple neighbors called in, and they reported the right address, but the person on the dispatch told them we get like hundreds of calls, so they said we figured out where the fire is. You don't know the truth, kind of. That's what they told us. So now they told we get hundreds of calls, we know where the fire is, we know where to go, and didn't listen to our neighbors. Even one of the neighbors, I think, he drove to the fire station, like E69, to say, hey, you're going to the wrong location here. Please come out and kind of go to the fire. So that's A, I think. And B, I think there's also, they don't have the right maps, I think. They don't know if here's a fire here, they have to go like they take Los Arboles Road and not take like Clark Road.
Yeah.
Got it. Michelle, go ahead, please.
Much. And Volker, thank you for bringing it to the attention of the Fire Safe Council here tonight. I appreciate your outreach. Previously, Patty and I had a conversation about it, and I know that you and I spoke at your block party about this event.
I'm sorry, Michelle, could you get a bit closer to the mic?
I'm sorry, is that better?
Okay, go ahead.
So I have had awareness of this issue, both by email and in person when I visited La Colina for their block party. And I am in conversation with Chief Azario and also Chief Bachman to determine whether there's a place for the notes in tablet command, or if there was a dispatch, or what happened here, right? And so we're looking at ways, even though this does fall technically outside of the wildfire mitigation program, I am happy to carry this information to the leadership of both Richmond Fire and Contra Costa Fire, because I know that they had a joint response, and then carry the information back not only to this group, but also the La Colina Fireways neighborhood.
Awesome. Sounds great.
Thanks. I'll get the slides from Volker. I'll share them with you along with the recording of this meeting, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sohila.
Yes.
If I can jump in here, that piece of property is a disaster area, which is waiting to happen. It is just ukes and pines. I've been through that property, and you can see the boundaries on the bottom and the right side. That's the East Regional Park boundary. There's a fence there, and the rest of that property, I've found marijuana farms back there, homeless back there, tents back there. There's a house, I guess, down in the center there, an older house. And I don't know where the road is, but the fact is that if that got going, as you mentioned, on a day we had winds coming from the north, my house, which is just down the hill from that would have been gone. And I'm thinking, wow, this is a little disaster area. I don't know if they're required to do anything to clean it up, but it
I'm
is.
sorry, before making comments, can we let Volker finish the presentation, please?
I mean, that's kind of what I had here. I mean, I just want to say I have like my neighbors made a really nice Google Docs document I can share. I think it has been sent to you already, so I'm gonna share it again. Which
No, I haven't seen it. This is the first time I heard about it from your neighbor.
okay,
And
then
I
never mind.
but
I thought Patty said he sent it over, but I'm super happy to share it, and it has like all a little bit more detailed information. And then that is basically just wanted to bring it up. Sounds like Michelle is already on it, so let's continue this investigation and really make sure, we understand what happened here, and the next time when we have a fire in our area, that the fire department finds the right address. Because in general, I mean, the response was awesome. It's just there's kind of 27 minutes between initial like reports and finding and send the truck to the right location. That is really the big issue I see here. Once they found it, I mean, there was really strong response. It was a great thing. And now, I mean, in general, this area, I mean, is city of Richmond, and we had, I think, Soelia and I, we had some discussion already about this. I mean, in general, it's kind of a little bit abundant. I mean, the people live there, but it's definitely out of control. There is definitely no vegetation management in that area. There's a lot of like buildings which are definitely not, I would say, not legal. There's, I think, which caught fire is called the barn, and a couple of people lived at least in that barn in the past. So it's kind of converted in the building structure. This area behind the tree line here is owned by the Whitehead Community School, and that's a prime spot for like illegal dumping. Meaning we have like in this corner here, there's like, tons of trash. There's even like burned out cars. There's a big bulldozer somewhere here. All kinds of stuff which is highly inflammable and super toxic, and this kind of gets fire. So that's a big problem here. And also what is true, there's also very little vegetation management in this area. Yeah.
okay, very good. Thank you.
One thing that I'd like to add, anyone concerned about any property that they do not own, you can utilize the exterior hazards complaint form through Contra Costa County Fire Protection District, and I'll put that information into the chat.
Great.
Yeah.
Also, if you could email it to me, Michelle, that'd be great. So I'll share it with the community.
Sure.
Thank you. Marilyn, are you connected to voice now? Do you have sound? Can you run the meeting? I'm asking you to unmute. I muted you because there
Yes, I apologize there.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm unmuted now.
Excellent.
I
Go ahead.
apologize, folks. When I ran an update and I'm afraid it went badly. So suddenly my system wasn't working, my computer Zoom wasn't working. Thank you, Volker. I would like your presentation if you could email it from my own notes.
I'm going to share
We
it.
don't have
Go.
fire inspectors in the city of Richmond. Plus, I don't know what their vegetation rules would be for this kind of property. But obviously this is something Richmond has to start working on. And it's probably a task for Munson to address. Okay. For the next item I had on our agenda, I'm sorry I missed the beginning. I don't know if anyone wanted to add anything, but
Yeah,
we were going to have a
I want to
brief
ask.
discussion.
Okay, please go ahead.
Sorry, Stu, go ahead.
I was told to wait until the presentation was done.
Okay, we're done. Yeah, thank you.
But I say that area is a complete train wreck when it comes to the vegetation and the management. It's not even the sort of complaint we usually make against the Park District. Park District, there are trees, there are Monterey pines which are seeding onto and have moved about 2 acres onto East Richmond Park land over the last 20 years. And I've been up through there, and there's a lot of people staying up there. and walking in, and I don't know what they're doing, but I've seen a lot of traces of people being up there, plus a marijuana farm with a big tank, and that was that was a bit of a shock. But anyway, the point is, it just needs to be addressed. And again, I think with Michelle's form, perhaps we could report or something, get some kind of a notice paid to this, because this is, I don't know where it started, how it started, but in fact, that property has been off the radar for a long time, and it's really bad. It's really bad. So
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's a lot of problems like you described, definitely.
okay.
I know it changed ownership about 2 years ago, I think.
This-
Oh,
yeah, I mean, the
Maybe,
thing is,
but my understanding is nobody knew anything about the new owners.
so
Mhm.
my understanding is that the investor bought the property, and the previous owner still has like he can still live there until I think he dies. So
Huh.
basically, and the new owner is basically, I mean, he's also not paying attention. I think he's an investor from Southern California.
Uh-huh.
So it is still, I mean, still kind of the old owner, just in a new kind of situation, I would say.
Yeah.
But I mean, I must say it improved. I mean, there was a time, I mean, where
My understanding, there were tenants.
yes, I mean, that's what I said. I don't know how many people lived
Yeah,
up.
I was going to say there were tenants, and they were evicted. Well, they
Yeah.
said they were being evicted, which
Yes.
is how I found out about the ownership change.
Yes, there were a lot of people living up there, and now it's only a few, maybe 3 or 4. And it was maybe high time, maybe 20 at the time, maybe more. So
Yeah. Yeah. The other thing, I don't want you to be off track with the marijuana farming. Richmond has what they call industrial farming permits, which marijuana farming falls under. And actually, the fire code for industrial farming is stricter than regular code, but I don't know much about it. I'm just saying the real problem is as far as I can tell, is Richmond doesn't inspect.
Right.
And they still are saying things like, we won't go in your backyard when everybody else is doing inspection by drone. They could hire a company with drones to do that, So it's just something we have to really start pushing hard on.
yeah, but that's for fire inspection, huh? They only inspect what they can see from public road. Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that's not true. That's my point. It's weird. It's weird. Why are they 20 years behind?
Yeah. So
At
okay.
any rate, does anyone else have comments about this? I mean, I know Richmond needs.
Marilyn, we cannot hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, I think she cannot hear us either.
I think the connection.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, I think my connection is bad.
Okay, you may want to turn the video off.
Okay, I'm going to leave and come back in again. I'm sorry.
Okay, it's okay. I'll run the meeting in her
Right.
absence.
No, I think I'm not going to reinstall, but I think that's the problem. And yeah, I'll be back. I'm going to leave and come back.
Okay. So, any more questions for Volker or Michelle? If no more questions, we hope that Michelle will update us about the results with Chief Osorio and Chief Buckman.
Of course, I'm happy to bring that information back to not only this group, but also to the La Colina Fireways group, and specifically to Volker.
Awesome. Thank you.
And Volker, as I was telling us too, one of the ways to draw attention of the authorities to your neighborhood is to organize an evacuation drill. Talk to your neighbors, and if you're up to it, let us know by January, beginning of January, so we can start collaborating and organizing it. And I strongly recommend it. It's more for the authorities than for the people to raise awareness. It's for them to, make sure everything's in place and they're coordinated.
I will do. Sounds good. I thought you wanted to say the best way is to start a fire.
Don't do that.
No, that's a bad advice. So no.
Yeah,
Evacuation drill. Let me talk to my neighbors and then let's get it started. Yeah, next year.
Okay, and just to clarify from a Confire standpoint, Confire will participate in any evacuation drill that is organized with the sheriff's office. Evacuations are the responsibility of law enforcement agencies, so please work with the sheriff's office for this request and provide me with the date that it is scheduled, and I will notify Confire's leadership so we can participate.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay.
So Susan and Rebecca, would you like to provide the report of the last open house, please?
So we had the open house on October the 6th at the Bayview Fire Station. It went very well, I thought. We had about roughly 160 attendees. We had good cooperation from the staff there. And there were about 14 different organizations and vendors who participated. So we're looking maybe next year we can have one in May. And then another one, what is that? Fire Prevention Month in May.
May
And then,
is for wildfire, and October is just fire safety.
yeah, so maybe we can have it at 2 different locations next year. Kind of spread it around.
To all the organizers for that event, I was one of the vendors that attended. And it was just a great event. I'd like to just acknowledge the organization and support that went into that. It made it very easy for me to participate as a single vendor, I, of course, supported by a large organization, but as a single person out to that event. Susan and everyone, just Rebecca and Sohila, everybody made it so welcoming, and it was just a really great event. And there is a possibility of having recruitment part of that in the future. I'm figuring out how to work that with the partnership with Richmond Fire.
That'd be awesome. Excellent. Yes, considering that it was one of the exceptionally hot days, the
Yes.
participation, I mean, was great. Yes. Public attendance was great for such a hot day, and we are very happy with the result. So, Marilyn, do you have sound?
Yes, yes, and it's 500% better.
Excellent.
Sorry about this.
We just finished review of the open house, and the next item is Rebecca's financial report, and you can take over now.
All right. Is Rebecca? There's Rebecca.
Yes.
I don't know if you were prepared to share the report, but that would probably be easiest.
Well, yes, I can. If you want to, let me get.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't have the report up, but I can bring just a second.
Yeah. You also emailed it to us, so.
Right. Okay, so I can share the screen.
Yes, that would be perfect.
Okay, so this is a list of the expenses that we incurred for the event on October 6th. it's a little over $1,200 because okay.
Can you make it bigger?
50. Make it bigger. Can you
Zoom in?
can you just expand your screen at the top of the computer? Let's see.
People, I can email it to you.
But well, you can't see it at all.
Well,
Well-
each of us can expand the screen. I just expanded mine 50%.
Yeah, you can just expand your screen.
Yeah,
just
it's
expanded it,
tough for
yeah.
people on phones, so
Ah,
but I can send it to everybody later with notes.
Okay. Essentially, we spent about $1,400, which I thought was very inexpensive considering we provided food for, we estimate, a little under 200 people.
Yeah, it was amazingly low because the DJ was a volunteer, didn't charge us, and many face painters. We had many volunteers
Yes.
charge us.
So it went well, and we have a balance of $21,000. Can you see? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Can you see the numbers on this? My screen is real big. So okay, so of this $2,100, about 10,000 is actually has already been budgeted for
Mhm.
the Cal grant that we got. There's a balance there of about $10,000, and that's pretty much already dedicated to expenses. So that leaves us about $11,000 that we can consider using for some of the other events that we're planning, like the next year's event.
Yeah.
So, what I wanted to do is, talk, well, maybe not here, but at some point, put a budget together that we can plan on spending for those two major events in May and next October.
Mm-hmm.
But, we're doing well. There's plans. There's a plan in motion right now to develop the website, and I understand there's about 5,000 being considered for that. That's part of the ongoing expense that's already budgeted with the startup money that we got from the state. So it's just a good idea to decide what we're going to do in advance and use the money, and that gives us an opportunity to become better known in the community and raise more money for future events. So I think that's something that the executive board can do, and then present it at a future meeting of the entire group.
Yeah. We do have a discussion about website below, and it has, of course, budget considerations. So we will come back to revisit anyhow that aspect. Did everyone catch that we have both the May and October event planned for next year? I just want to make sure everyone knows, because we want to recruit people to help plan, and we need to figure out how much we can budget for them. We can also request for grants from other or donations. So the May one will be educational focused, whereas the October 2025 will be another open house at a fire station. I assume. So,
Right. And there's also the consideration given to the area. I can't think of the name of the street where that goes up to Ray's house. An evacuation in that area. So, that's something that needs to be discussed. Do you have any thoughts on that, Ray? You still there?
Yeah. Yeah, I wrote some details in when that was requested about the areas having only one way in and out. So that area you're talking about where I live, the El Sobrante Hills, up towards like Live Oak Circle and Monteverde, which has some of the same characteristics in a scary way of what just happened at La Colina. So yeah, anyway, that we keep kind of struggling with this issue of having just one way in and out, and the road is unmaintained. So it's the one way in and out is also not particularly passable in some places. It's really potholed and pretty narrow. And if somebody's parking their car on a given day, it makes it even narrower. Yeah, but we're certainly not the only neighborhood like that.
Well, it seems to me that there are a lot of homes up there. And so, even though you're not the only area that's, in really at risk,
Yeah.
it seems that, we should make that a priority because there are so many homes up there. And as you said, the road is not well maintained.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah,
on a good day, it's hard to get out of there.
There are a lot of houses. Also, we were all just dropped from our insurance in the last month.
oh,
Every single one of us above basically Maryland's area, kind of just as soon as you start going up the hill, all of us were dropped.
I've been waiting for that. And to my bafflement, Contra Costa allowed the minimum road clearance to be reduced to 20 feet, which I believe is what your roadway is. It used to be 22 or 24, I can't remember which, but it's very easy to see how 20 really doesn't work. I mean, even 24 is barely functioning for emergency access.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, as to how, what can be done to improve that road? Just like I said, on a good day, it's hard to get in and out. So
That's a real good question. And there's a number 2 part to it. Now that they've lost their insurance, is there any way to have the county apply for grants to provide for road improvements specifically for emergency access? And it is at the county level to ask for that kind of money. And now part of it is private road, but isn't the bulk of it county road?
Yeah, it's maintained public road up until there's a big set of mailboxes where Skyline splits with Live Oak and Monteverde. After that, it's private, but people can't afford. We've looked in before about chipping in to pave it, and it's totally not doable for most people. So, I mean, that the idea of getting grant money to do that, I think, is actually the single thing that would make the biggest difference to make the road passable.
Yeah.
I see Michelle's hand up. I don't know if you have thoughts about that, Michelle.
Ray, I'm just wondering if you're already connected with Commissioner Lara's insurance strategy updates and the United Policyholders as a insurance advocacy group. If you and your community already have the resources there. If not, let's work out a way to get that information out. I do have flash drives available. We can organize a meeting. We can do that virtually or in person. and I can get the information out to your folks.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we don't have any of that, so that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the United policyholders information into the chat now. That's a good place to start. And then Commissioner Lara's that's with California Department of Insurance. And I'll put that link into the chat now also. Is everyone hearing me a little bit better?
Yes.
I'm so
Better
sorry.
than-
So I'm going to put in his update. It was his last press release, but you can look on that site and see the all of the press releases relating to his insurance strategy. But yeah, let's organize a meeting to get this out to your group, Ray. I want to make sure that they are equipped with, armed with the information, right? Information is power. So working with an advocacy group such as United Policyholders, getting a better understanding of what the insurance crisis status is and what the plans are for the future, really giving people action, a list of action items that will be used as, Chief Winokur over in Raga Arinda recently spoke about the Zone Zero, but he also spoke about the insurance strategy and how that so pairs with the insurance crisis. So let's get, if it's possible, again, we can do something virtually, but let's coordinate to get me out into the community with either an inspector, or I can pull a representative from the California Department of Insurance. Maybe we can do a panel discussion. There's a lot of things that we can do. I recently did a panel discussion with Supervisor Joya in the Kensington area, and that was very beneficial. I got a lot of good feedback from the residents there in Kensington. So we're doing a lot of work, and it's meetings such as this that spawn, a future contact and future outreach, and getting information out to the community. So yeah, let's connect and find out a time that works for everyone.
Thank you.
I'm seeing Sohila nod and a little smile, so I'm making her happy.
Yeah, let's have such a town hall meeting with the insurance commissioner's office early January for El Sobrante Valley.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
I'm not out of here December 31st, you're gonna be stuck with me.
Oh, we'll keep you here. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, everybody knows that, my county coordinator grant is up December 31st. So we are seeking additional funding to keep this position in place in Contra Costa County, looking for ways to really capitalize on the work that we've done so far. And one of those ways, if Sohila and Marilyn, if you wouldn't mind, I'll plug in my updates here, or should I wait?
Go ahead. I should have put you on the agenda. I apologize.
No, that's okay. So one of the ways that we're looking to improve safety, and when Volker shared the map, the La Colina fire was just northeast of a proposed East Richmond Heights shaded fuel break. We had applied for a grant. It was 1.1 million, and the grant was denied. So our plan is to regroup and reapply in the next round of funding. And I have regular updates going out to the East Richmond Heights MAC board or the Municipal Advisory Council board. So they're aware of all the updates. And again, I'm happy to carry all of those updates back to this group also. I've made contact with the Gayoto Foundation, and I'm awaiting a meeting to be scheduled there. And again, that's just looking at the commitment level in the neighborhoods. And getting some buy-in from the residents and community there, how to make their area safer, but also protect adjacent communities, protect critical infrastructure like BART. If a fire starts at that ridge and carries down into the flats of Richmond, just looking at how that can help. And if if I can share. Yes, I can share. So this is the map of the proposed area. And you'll see that the area outlined in red here is the proposed shaded fuel break. And the fire happened right up in here. So again, a wind coming from, the southwest could carry into the area, and a fire starting in this northeast area could carry down into Richmond. So again, this is the proposed project area. This was from our the tracking number is from the last application. So a new tracking number will be issued with the new application. But we will seek Board of Supervisors approval to once the grant is identified, once that grant period opens, we'll seek Board of Supervisors approval to apply, as we did the last time. I'll stop sharing that.
Let me know when it's approved, please, so I inform the community.
Of course, of course.
Thank you.
And an update on our Contra Costa County Fire Protection District open house. I'm happy to report we had 755 attendees, along with our valued partnered agencies, the American Red Cross, BART, CAL FIRE, their SCU unit, the California Department of Insurance, Concord Police Department, Contra Costa Sheriff's Office, the Community Warning System, Contra Costa Resource Conservation District, East Bay Municipal Utility District, East Bay Regional Parks, Genesis, La Miranda CERT, Make El Cerrito Fire Safe. Sue Duncan was so kind to attend, and she had a table just adjacent to mine. The Marathon Refinery, San Ramon Valley Fire District, and United Policyholders. So this event met a grant deliverable for the county coordinator position, and the public attended the event with zero out-of-pocket expense. So all demonstrations, parking, attendance, and food were free. And we're looking forward to increased attendance for next year, and I'll keep you all informed as to the dates of that open house. The project request. So Hila, I mentioned that I would be covering this in my update to you all today. We are actively accepting applications for the wildfire mitigation program. This includes community chipping days, evacuation route cleanups, fireway strategic plans, low-income exterior hazard control projects, removal of dead trees, shaded fuel breaks, vegetation management, and fuel reduction. Keeping in mind that the distribution of projects needs to be county-wide. So areas that have had engagement with the program may experience a delay in approval, but it doesn't mean that we're denying projects. We are always open to accepting new areas and new projects, but you may experience a delay while we get caught up in other areas of the county. Keep in mind the deadline to renew your Fireway strategic plan is November 15th. That is a date set by CAL FIRE that is not set by Contra Costa County Fire. And one other follow-up, in our vegetation management and fuel reduction projects, note that some large biomass may be left in place. And this was a leadership decision based on fire science, and only used when appropriate. But an example of that would be the Heavenly Ridge project. So Hila, if you hear about that, just let me know, but I'm in contact with the proposer of that project. And large biomass is the large stumps, or, things that the chipper cannot accept because it's too large. And the burn rate on a large piece of biomass is much less. So for critical habitat and other reasons, that large biomass may sit in place. But the lighter, more flammable fuels will be chipped and hauled. The red flag warning. Everybody received, again, Sue Duncan, the El Cerrito Fire Safe put out an alert. Notices like this help us get the word out. So many, many thanks to that group for putting the information out there. But basically, for anyone who has not heard, the red flag warning is in effect from Tuesday morning through Thursday morning for most of the Bay Area and Central Coast, as a strong offshore wind and critically dry conditions are expected to develop. So the The timing again from the National Weather Service is Tuesday at 11 a.m. to Thursday at 7 a.m. The offshore winds will be at or above 25 miles an hour, some gusts in excess of 55 miles an hour. The afternoon humidity is expected to be as low as 15%. Now, the overnight humidity may only be 25 to 45. So this is not the time to be running the weed whacker and getting things ready for the winter. So PSPS events are expected. All of those things that we so carefully deal with. But again, this is not the time to be clearing out vegetation with anything. Doing the right thing in the right way, right? And I think other than the grant update, so I'll be closing out the grant in December and doing all of my reporting. At times there will be updates from and requests for information, and I appreciate the speedy feedback. I have such a great working relationship with everyone here, but just know that the tight timeline will be the grant required by the grant. And so if I'm requesting any information in December, I know everybody's on vacation and with the holidays and things, but there will be a pretty quick deadline there. Any questions?
Yeah, I have a few. I was just wondering, you said red flag alert. Does that mean that public agencies will be made aware of it or are expected to observe it?
I'm sending an email actually with the text of the Nexel message for Richmond and urging people to sign up for Nexel. As soon as this meeting is over, I'll send that email.
Okay, I'm just talking about red flag warning going out to public agencies.
Yes.
Like the Park District, which seems to be, I observed it this last time, which was surprising, but didn't do anything about it. But I'm saying in the past, they've had to be told from the outside, just from citizens, say, are you thinking about having a red flag warning and perhaps a closure of a park or some limitation? And they finally did. I was shocked, but in fact, it seemed not to be something in process or something that's expected. It was unusual. So I'd like to make it more regular and planned. So
That's a good point. If you send me an email, I'll pass it to East Bay Regional Parks too.
okay,
Thank you, Sophia. I appreciate that support.
Of course.
Any other questions? Anything that I can help with? Any frustrations?
Well-
You mentioned a permit that was supposed to be was coming due, or at least a membership of some sort for November 15th. I don't understand what that is.
Oh, okay. So Firewise Neighborhoods developed their 3-year Firewise strategic plan. And
Okay.
CAL FIRE set November 15th as the deadline for all renewals of Firewise neighborhood strategic plans. So
How do we do that?
they're done on a 3-year basis.
Okay.
So if a Firewise neighborhood applied in 2021,
Uh-huh.
they're up for renewal.
Okay,
And
that's
that deadline is November 15th.
okay. How does one do that? Or is it an organization? I don't know how to do that. So
Oh, are you currently a Firewise neighborhood or Firewise?
I had no idea. No idea.
Okay. So I can put out a summary of how to apply
Okay.
to be a Firewise neighborhood.
Sure.
Keeping in mind that becoming Firewise requires 8 neighbors, a minimum of 8, and a maximum of 2,500.
Okay.
And you develop your board. You plan, act, and do. You develop your board, and the 3-year strategic plan is basically identifying projects on a year-over-year. So let's say that one of your projects would be a community chipping day.
Yeah.
So then you would use the Measure X funded wildfire mitigation program to meet that strategic plan goal.
Okay.
So you would do that on a 3-year basis, and we would accept year 1 projects first to get you up to speed. Keeping in mind that every project that is proposed in a Firewise strategic plan is not, I like to say the fire service is not a landscaping service. So it involves community support, sweat equity, getting things in place, right? So if you propose, let's say, an evacuation or vegetation project, you would then also include in your narrative a maintenance plan to continue that work within the community. It's a way of getting caught up rather than a way of maintaining a project area.
Okay. All right, I kind of get it. All right, thanks very much.
Thank you. And I'm putting the Firewise link into the chat now.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Michelle, I hope we get your funding fixed up.
Oh, I hope so too. I really like the job. I really enjoy it. And it's
Isn't the county thinking of bridge while they get their act together?
you know, I'm gonna sit quietly until I see everything. But you know, I'm gonna continue the work, right?
Great.
Ray, as we're talking about getting a community meeting going, you know, we want to keep that timeline in mind. And I know that the holidays are upon us, but you know, as we're working through that, I'm going to continue to work until they tell me not to. You know, if Chief Bachman calls me and says you're done working on December 31st, then I'm done working on December 31st. But I think we're close to hearing about CAL FIRE funding. And it's really dependent on that statewide organization for funding. But I really appreciate the support. I will tell you that letters are welcomed and very much appreciated. How this role has impacted your community, how this role has had effective change. I know that like Kennedy Grove, you know, they were my first Firewise neighborhood. So they're just very near and dear to my heart. Erica Pang and all the neighbors in Kennedy Grove, you know, and then seeing them through the application for AIM grant funding, understanding what that $50,000 brought to that community and how they're utilizing that money and how they're leveraging those funds along with Measure X funds is just it tells me that I'm doing a good job. You know,
yes,
those are the real tangible things where I can say, yeah, okay, we're making a difference.
You are doing a good job, and if you need a letter of support from us, we'll be happy to draft one.
Thank you so much, Sohila. I'd really appreciate it. Any feedback can go directly to Chief Bachman.
Okay. I was going to ask to whom?
Yeah. He's the boss. He's the guy.
All right. I think is that it from you, Michelle?
That's it. That's the end of my report, unless anybody has any questions.
Okay. Well, I don't, and I'm looking at 3 minutes, folks. I hope you can wait 3 minutes after our 8 p.m. deadline. First, I want to not only recruit within this group, if anyone knows of somebody who works in social media and web work, we're going to need some volunteers in the future, and I would love it even if they only can give us 3 hours in a month, if they would contact me. And I think everyone has my emails, but I'm going to put my cell and my email in the chat for anyone interested in helping with the website. So we have 3 bids for the website, and actually one of them is exactly what I was looking for. So since time is short, unless anyone here has web experience, in which case I can talk to you afterwards and we can review. There's one that knew exactly what I was talking about, who understood the branding guidelines already done, who spelled correctly all the words in their bid, which, by the way, as an editor and someone who has worked web professionally for a long time now, is a very high priority to me. There's
Yeah.
no reason to submit a bid with about 20 spelling mistakes. And then, so I don't know that we need to discuss it, but if anyone has expertise and would like to comment or has another vendor that we could send our solicitation to, I'd appreciate it. One thing I will say is it's very clear to me that 5,000 is not really completely fair for the kind of website we need. The one that was submitted said, here's the baseline we'll get down for $5,000, and here's a very reasonable amount for ongoing maintenance, monthly work, and here's how much it'll cost you per hour for updates, for adding features and doing major changes and so forth. That's what I was looking for. But if we want to expand to probably bigger companies, we have to probably calculate the inflation and that sort of thing and go for 7,000 to 8,000. We have 10,000 left of the grant, Cal grant. I think they'll approve us using that money, all of it, for as far as we can get it to go on the website work. So I just that's the website relaunch. That's my trying to get recruits. And the last thing on the Firewise demo garden, I think, I don't know if I announced it last, the MOU has gone off to UC Legal. It has passed finally, Richmond Legal, our Fire Safe Council Legal. And I actually got an update feedback, that is, it was new to me, but it wasn't new to our program manager for the UC Master Gardener, who's coordinating that piece of it. But they said they think they'll have it done by Thanksgiving. So we'll see. I was thinking mid-December because of the Thanksgiving holiday always kind of messes things up. But
Are there any steps after that, or we're done?
I think the city council has to approve.
Oh, okay.
I'll double check that with Taufik, but I
I
think,
don't think so, but yeah.
well,
double-
there's some kind of a signing by the city, and I thought they just had to do. I thought it was a consent item. They just say yes, and then it
Oh,
gets.
okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know how much notice it needs to be on the city agenda. You would know that. A
10
week,
days.
10 days. Okay, so I can't believe we're finally getting it to the end of the long road.
Yeah.
I believe,
If it's past illegal, just 1 week.
yeah.
And I suggest it's 8 o'clock. I'm gonna stop recording now.